Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. I am Levi.
And I am Howie, and welcome to Northwest Magic. Today, part two, 100% definitive best real lists of all time for what set is this? March of the Machine, the Aftermath.
Yeah, Aftermath Part 2.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going through all
Go,
the non-legendaries. Well, sorry, there's some legendaries, but not the commanders.
non-commander cards.
Non-commander
Go.
cards.
Get into it. Go.
Get into it. Okay. We are starting off with a sorcery green. Animist's Might for 2 and a green. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a legendary creature you control. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Okay, it can be a cheap sorcery speed fight mechanic, and it can hit a planeswalker.
Feels average. Like, it's not bad.
Very
For
average.
most of the time you're playing this, it's going to be just for green. 1 mana is pretty good for removal. Sorcery speed hurts it a little bit, but I'm willing to put it at C. I don't think
See,
it's bad. I don't think it's great.
I agree with that. Very middle of the road.
Cool.
All right.
A Yara's Oath Sworn. One in a black for a creature human knight 2/2 with menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, if it has fewer than 4+1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then, if it has exactly 4, search your library for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle.
You know, I would see her and I'd be like, dang, she's pretty cool. Like, I don't know. Like in person. Sorry, not on the card. Like in
Oh,
person, she'd be cool. I would want to be her friend.
oh. I would want to put her in D tier.
Agreed.
This kind of sucks. It's super slow, even in a +1/+1 counter deck. I don't think this is it.
Yeah, just some plus one counters. Uh, I mean, exactly 4, and then you get to tutor. That's fun.
It's uh, the floor is real bad.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, just D. Not really worth our time. Alrighty, let's go to Blot Out. For 2 and a black. Instant. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Okay. That's
It's not bad.
not bad. Isn't this the same CMC as that really good instant that makes everybody sacrifice one?
Soul Shatter.
Yeah, isn't this the same price?
It is the same price. It's 2 and a black. They're both the instant. This one exiles a creature, but it only hits one person. And Soul Shatter lets you sacrifice. So I guess if we're comparing it to one of the better removal spells in the format, it's not that good. But I think if Soul Shatter didn't exist, I would like this a lot. I
Yeah,
would say C.
C because Soul Shatter exists.
Yeah,
Like literally, that's all it is.
yeah. I mean, Soul Shatter is it's a 3-for-1. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is not bad at all, but there's better removal.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Campus Renovation. 3 red and a white for a sorcery. Return up to one target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards.
Oh, you got to pay for it still.
Yeah, but it's card advantage. It's a 3-for-1, right? You get any artifact or enchantment straight to the battlefield, so you're cheating that cost, and then 2 cards impulse until your next turn. It's 5 mana though. I would say C. I wouldn't say it's bad.
Yeah,
I'm sure it would be like a good budget card.
I could see
I
making a
don't I don't know
pretty
what it
good
costs money
turn
wise,
with
but I
this.
can imagine it being budget. Yeah,
I would have a
it's
pretty
not bad.
good turn. Cool.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
Good in
it's really not
Boros.
bad. Yeah, good in Boros. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Coppercoat Vanguard. 1 and a white for a creature human soldier. Each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has ward 1. Not bad for one and a white. I mean, this is like the classic mono white weenies. You'd throw this in for sure. The ward 1 is kind of like I don't know, a lot of like big humans that would be nice for, but normally like mono white weenies. At least this is what I'm getting from it is a mono white weenies list. You're not
Yeah,
single targeting a lot of their things. Maybe some, but Ward 1,
I mean,
yeah,
it matters. It's a key piece.
yeah, it's
Oh, I
pretty
guess
good.
it gives other humans ward 1, but I don't know. I think ward is relevant, and more oftentimes than not, you won't see what effect that has because people won't be casting things. You know what I mean?
Oh, you do have a point there. Yeah.
I think it's relevant. I don't think it's in the right spot. I would give this a C. The right deck, I would say C. C's fine.
Give this one a C. I'd
Yeah,
almost.
I don't want to put it next to a Yara's Oathsworn garbage card.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
It has a home in the right deck in humans, but otherwise it's not worth it.
I have a feeling we're going to have a pretty big C list.
There's a lot of middle of the line cards, it seems. Let's move on
Yeah.
to the next one. Cosmic Rebirth 1, a green and a white. For an instant, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. If it has mana value 3 or less, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into your hand. You gain 3 life. I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
I like that it's an instant. It's almost like casting anything from your graveyard that's a mana value 3 or less, right?
It
For
absolutely
3
is.
for 3. So, you know, I use the card a lot, but like, you got Rhystic Study or I don't know, Scoot Swarm, you got anything in your graveyard and you can just kind of cast it again if it got removed.
Yeah. I
And
can.
if it's versatile, so if it's not a permanent, if it's not a permanent with a 3 or less mana value, you just put it in your hand at instant speed, which is
Put it out
whew.
quick. I like it.
I would say B or A. I'm gonna leave that up to
I'm
you.
gonna
I
give
like
it A for now, because you never know. We could change it, even though we never do, but we we will one day.
I think that I don't know. I feel like I could put this in any Selesnya Plus deck and feel totally comfortable with it, unless it was like a very heavy Selesnya Plus Spellslinger deck. But and where's that at?
Right. Come on, wizards, give us our Selesnya Spellslinger decks. Cool.
Moving on.
I'm ready for this one. This is a cool art. I like this one. Death Rattle Oni, a creature demon spirit for 6 and a black. Flash. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all other creatures that were dealt damage this turn. So it costs less for things that died, and then anything that wasn't quite dead, it it finishes off.
It feels you want this in like a token deck. It is what it feels like. Like you swing in with a bunch of little 1/1s. Your opponents feel like they can safely block into this stuff, and so they kill your tokens, and then you cast this for just a black and kill everything that they have that took a damage from the battle, from the combat. I
Yeah.
mean that's like what it's for, right? Because if you play it after a board wipe, it's not going to kill anything ever. I
Yeah,
feel like that's the only situation, right?
that's how it reads. That's how it seems to read.
Yeah. Or if you have a deck where you have a lot of like targeted pingers, like they tap and deal a damage to something.
I think it's
But
interesting. I think it interacts with the board interestingly. I don't think it's like amazing, but it's cool.
I think it's really cool. It's a cool like concept. I don't know if it's executed that well. I would say C. I think it's really cool. I would play around with it, but I just don't think it's going to be that good.
Yeah,
Like I feel
it's
like the ceiling is high, but I feel like the floor is The more average part's going to be real low.
It would be cool because I think it would definitely get a few people for sure. It would get me. I would be like, "Oh, I'm okay. I just blocked, some of these 1/1s,"
It
and then all of a sudden, this guy comes down, and I'm like, "Oh
it
crap!"
yeah. It feels a lot like actually like Ink Shield. Do you know that card?
Oh, I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like a 5 mana instant, prevent all combat damage, make that many 2/1 flyers. Like
Yes.
it's like a totally a blowout card, but you got to have a lot of setup for it to really work right.
It reminds me
So
of that. Yeah, where it's a gotcha card. Pretty cool.
yeah, I feel like there will be situations where this will totally be S tier, but on average, C feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, it would feel good to get it off. That oh, okay, that sounded like a weird sentence, but
Deification. 1 and a white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, choose a Planeswalker type. Planeswalkers you control of the chosen type have hexproof. As long as you control a creature, if damage dealt to a Planeswalker you control of the chosen type would result in all loyalty counters on it being removed. Instead, all but one of those counters are removed.
this is just for Super Friends. What other deck would you run this in?
Yeah, it's totally Super Friends or in a like you could have a Planeswalker as a commander. Like this would probably go into Hada.
I could see use for this absolutely for Planeswalker as a commander. Yeah,
It's also really. This feels like a really weird card. This feels like a custom card. Like all these, it's all weird.
fan made. These are just fan made.
It turns out this whole tier list is just fan made.
I think what
If
it
you
does,
were,
it does really well. It could be C, but I think I think if you're gonna be running like a Planeswalker commander or especially a Super Friends, I feel like I would totally include this. This might be an auto include if I'm running a list like that.
I don't think I agree, and that's fine. I would say it's another C. So I don't know what you were thinking.
Like if I guess what yeah, if I was running a Super Friends list, I've never made a Super Friends list
I
because it
used to
seems
have
complicated, too complicated for my small brain.
long
So
turns.
I read
I
this and I'm
like.
like, oh, it helps Planeswalker.
I mean, I would say C. If you like it a lot, you can put it in B.
It's
I feel like it's fighting for the spot in an already crowded deck. And it's
yeah,
not bad. It's
I'm
not
okay
bad.
with it in
I don't want to put
C.
I don't want to put it in D. I think C is fine.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever.
Read the land.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Dranith Ruins. Taps to add a colorless, and for 2 in a tap, put 2+1/+1 counters on target non-human creature that entered the battlefield this turn. So we've seen lands that do something similar to this before, but this really isn't too bad. I mean, 2 for 2, basic. Well, 3 mana, kind of, if you include this tapping for
Yeah,
two
I
plus one
mean
plus
it's
ones.
essentially 3. And
Really not horrible.
it's not horrible. Um the opportunity cost is very low, so you could just throw this in any deck and it would work. I don't like that it says that the creature had to enter the battlefield this turn. That brings it down. You can't you know, at instant speed when it really matters, put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature.
That would
Like,
probably
getting
up
in
this
for
card a
trying to get in
lot.
for damage and no one blocked it, so you put 2+1 counters on it.
Yeah, it would
It's
up this
not
card a lot if you
it's
could
not
do
bad
that.
at all. You're right when you said this list is going to be very C heavy. I feel like it's a C.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't hate any of these cards, but it's just I'm not gonna put it in B.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna have any S cards today.
I don't know.
I think we will. Will the next one be one? Stay tuned for Feast of the Victorious Dead. White and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if one or more creatures died this turn, you gain that much life and distribute that many +1/+1 counters among creatures you control.
At the beginning of your end. So, oh, okay. So this is pretty good for aristocrats. Just adding more value to that, especially because you
It's
could do a pretty big sack turn on your turn, and then you get health and puzzle encounters.
yeah. I don't know, man. I still feel like this is a C. I feel like a lot of these they have super specific homes, and I don't even know if those homes even want them. They might just kick them out to the curb. You know what I mean? Pack their bags for them. They get home from work and they're homeless.
Art is good again, at least. We'll give this one
the
a
the
C.
art the art on this set's good, but it's all C's.
Alrighty. Next one. We have Filter Out for 1 and 2 blue. Instant. Return all non creature, non land permanents to their owner's hands. Ooh,
This
that's pretty decent.
I
Somebody
don't
has.
know, man.
Okay, somebody has maybe a lot of
No, this is great. When I
treasure.
said I don't know, man, it made it sound like I don't like it. This might be the best card in the set.
Because, like, yeah, if you have a lot of treasures and somebody does this on you, you're forced to spend your treasures now. You could have several really good enchantments and artifacts out, and then all of them just get returned. You get reset.
Yeah, it hits battles. It hits planeswalkers.
And for the
I
low
I like it
price.
a lot. I it personally when we got enchantment removal on something, I like it a lot because there's not enough enchantment removal. I am this is A or S, and I am more inclined to put it in S tier. I think it's really cool. It's instant speed. It's 3 mana, which is really good for it hits everybody's stuff. I don't know.
We'll
Probably put
probably
in any
see
blue
this
deck, which is all
card.
my decks.
Yeah, we'll probably see this card pop up more and more.
I'm definitely gonna try it out. I say S now, but who knows? Who knows what happens in the future? I like it a lot. I love it even.
And that's saying something.
I don't think I've said that in any video we've ever recorded. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The word love. Anyway, it's your turn.
Oh, it's kind of weird. Gold forged Thopteryx, white and a blue, for an artifact creature, Dinothopter. Flying and lifelink for a 1/3. Each legendary permanent you control has Ward 2.
Ooh, for 2 mana and flying creature. It's not too
I
horrible.
maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is really good.
Yeah.
Like, so we got Lightning Greaves and we got Swiftfoot Boots, right? Those cost 2, and then one of them costs like 1 to equip. Like, I feel like this is just a level below that, and you don't have to equip, and it hits all your legendary permanents. Because usually Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves, they go straight on your commander, right?
Yep.
This is my argument for it. I think it's a super solid card. I would try it in any of my Azorius Plus decks. I think it's really cool. I think that it's a little fragile. It's an artifact creature. But like, I don't know. I would say this would be the first B on the list. Like, I don't think it's not it's not Swiftfoot Boots. It's not Lightning Greaves. Those give haste, which are why they're like amazing. But it gives you the protection for just 2 mana.
Yeah.
I think this is the lowest end B card you could imagine. But like, it's not quite C in my opinion. I like it a lot. That's my argument. It might not be as good as I'm thinking on paper, like in practice, it might not be as good, but I like it a lot. I
I
think it's really
like
good.
it. I always think things are better than they are, though, so.
Yeah,
Okay. Harnessed Snubhorn. That's what they used to call me in college. 3 and a white. Creature, dinosaur. Vigilance whenever Harnessed Snubhorn deals combat damage to a player. Return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's 2/5. Power toughness.
2/5 with no evasion and 4 mana to do that.
Ew.
It's not bad. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
don't know if
I
I'd
would put
ever
the.
put this in anything, but
I was about to say I would put it in a dinosaur deck, but I don't even think I would because what artifacts or enchantments are Dino tribal decks playing?
you know what? I'm overruling. I'm putting that in D. I don't like it. I
Okay,
don't think I'd ever put that in anything. It's like
D just
fine.
like your college harness snubhorn grades. You know what I mean? That's why we're here making YouTube videos.
All right. All right.
Colligan, Warmonger, two in a red.
That's what they used to call you in college.
It was high school. Ogre Warrior, 3 and a 2, 3/2. God dang it, did it again. Three
Three
and
and a
two,
two.
3 and a 2. He's got haste, and whenever it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a dragon card from among them, put it in your hand, rest on your bottom in a random order. I like that it's got haste. I like that it's an attack trigger, not a combat damage trigger. Obviously not anywhere except your dragon decks, but hey, it's probably always going to hit a dragon card. So
Yeah.
I think it's totally passable. I would, yeah, B is
B.
fine. B, but only for dragon decks. Like you
Yeah.
ain't putting it anywhere else. Not going to filter through your deck just for no reason.
Right. Leyline Immersion for 3 and a green. Enchantment Aura. Enchant legendary creature. Enchanted creature has ward 2 and tap, add 5 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells. Uh
This
it
is really cool.
it already nets you one mana if you're able to use it that same turn.
Which, I mean, that doesn't sound like an issue.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like, yeah, you can only use it to
and
cast
gives it
spells, but
and gives it ward 2
five.
on top of it.
It doesn't even need that. It really doesn't even need that word too. I'd
I
probably
I
still
would
use
I would
that.
play it without that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is nice so you don't get blown out entirely.
I like that. It doesn't. I don't know if it
For
goes
it,
in like every. Well, it doesn't go in every deck with green, but it goes in. I would put this in like some pretty cool. I would maybe put this in Calamax. I would consider it
I would I
because
would
because
instantly
it
put it in
it taps him.
Calamax.
It taps him and it gives you 5 mana of any
Yeah,
color.
and yeah, so like literally the turn this comes down, you get 5 more mana back, and it'll copy the spell with Calamax. I think anytime that you want to like, I don't know, just have that kind of mana, a 5 extra mana, which not every deck wants that much mana. Sometimes it's in excess,
Hmm.
but I think I don't know. This is a B or an A. I would say A. I like
I'm
it a
giving
lot.
it an A. I don't think
I
it's a
think that
B.
there's a lot of applications for it. Uh, I don't think every green deck wants it, but I think that there are a lot
There are a
because you.
lot.
I mean, almost every commander deck has a legendary creature right there in the command zone. So
Yeah, I
I
like this
like it a
card quite a
lot.
bit. I would if I get it, I will probably buy it. Or sorry, I will probably put it in a deck. I don't think I'll be buying any of this set though. All right. Well, if you've said your piece, let's get on with it then, shall we?
Markov Baron, 2 and a black for a vampire noble creature. 2/2. Convoke, one of the best words in the whole game. Lifelink. Other vampires you control get +1/+1 and madness 2 and a black.
Oh, it's the same cost.
In any madness deck like that cares about vampires, it's probably an auto include. Like or just a vampire deck. Seems super cool. You can convoke it out for its normal cost. You can pay the convoke cost for the madness too. So it feels a lot like a card you'd see out of Modern Horizon, where it's like super experimental. Like you got all these little non big impact things, but put together. I don't know.
It has a
I
lot
think it's
going on. It has Convoke, Lifelink, Buff, things, and
madness.
Madness. That's a lot to be like on a creature.
Yeah, I just feel this feels like an uncommon slot in Modern Horizons 2 or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I
That's just
know.
totally what it feels like.
I like it. I think it's a B.
I think it's fun. I think it's a C, but because it's fun, I'm gonna put it at B.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better than like some of these C's though.
I think
It'd be like at the
okay.
top, more top end of C.
I think top into C, but
Yeah,
I want to leave it a B because it's fun. It just I don't know. This is a cool card.
it is a cool card. I like that
I
it just
don't
has
use
so
I
many
don't
things.
usually give things points for being cool, but I think this is just cool.
Metropolis Reformer for 2 and a white. Creature, Angel, Cleric, Flying Vigilance. You have hexproof. Whenever Metropolis Reformer is dealt damage, you gain that much life. 2/3. Hmm.
I think this is absolute garbage, and I would never even touch this card.
I never know with you, I swear. Sometimes. Sometimes. Um,
It's the anticipation.
Giving yourself hexproof is cute, but I
I mean,
don't. I
sometimes
wouldn't.
it matters.
A lot of these when I look at these cards, I'm like, will I ever realistically put this in anything?
No.
And I look at it for myself, and I shouldn't do that entirely, but like I wouldn't put this in anything. I'm in the same boat. Like I just
Like, I don't know when you having hexproof, it doesn't matter that much. I don't like playing cards that care
yeah.
about what other people are doing because even like some of the bigger spellslinger decks, they'll kill you with non-combat damage, but it won't target you. Like Torment of Hellfire, that doesn't target, and that's gonna ruin your day real quick.
Yeah, like maybe if you're doing a pillow fort strategy,
I
I
just
could see putting this in.
I hate it. And this is a rare. That makes it even worse.
I'm putting it in D.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where it belongs. And if you play it, you know, leave a comment on why you would even consider that because I'm curious. Let me
Yeah.
know. I'll
Yeah.
reply to your comment, I promise. Nahiri's Resolve. 3, a red, and a white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have haste. At the beginning of your end step, exile any number of non-token artifacts and or creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep.
Whoa, you get some blinking in Boros? That's cool.
It's very interesting. I don't know what decks want Blink and Boros, and it's kind of weird that you blink them during your end step, but you get them back during your next upkeep. Might be a long time to
Yeah.
go without that stuff, unless you're playing an instant speed board wipe in Boros.
Oh, yeah, that actually is really weird.
I think this card's awkward. There's a
And
lot of words on here where it's like that's almost like it's a neat concept, but I feel like it's almost there.
that
See,
is, yeah, that's a C for me, dog. At least all your creatures get haste.
yeah, +1/+0 and haste is cool, but at 5 mana,
Oh, yeah,
it's
no, it's
it's quite awkward.
Let's get on to Open the Way. For X, green, green, sorcery. X can't be greater than the number of players in the game. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards. Put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So usually you got 4 players most of the time, and for commander. Um, you wouldn't. Would you really see this card much in like 1v1 formats? Much 4 mana
Uh,
for two lands tapped. I don't know. I don't
I
really play
mean,
many of those
so
anymore.
like you got like right. So do you play Sky Shroud Claim?
Not really.
I think that
Oh, that's the
card's
one that. What is that again? Actually,
it's
it's like Harrow.
two. It's 3 and a green. I think it's whatever. It's a 4 mana green sorcery. Get 2 forests, put them into play.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think they come in untapped as well. So this is a little bit of a step below that because they come in tapped. But
You
the
can
part I
get up to
like about this card,
4.
okay, so let's say you play it for, let's say X is 2. Like, that's average, right? Play it on turn 4. I like that you can get non-basics. It's not guaranteed, but like you could play this and pop a Cabal coffers off the top, and not a lot of land searching can do that.
That is
Especially,
very nice.
I don't know. I think it's like this is one I would want to experiment with. I, it's cool and it's like flexible because like at worst you could play it on, you know, with 3 mana and get just 1 land. Like that's kind of awful, but like it's still there and it's flexible, and I would feel okay playing it where X is 2. And more than that, like it's still not bad if you got the mana lying around and you really need more mana, I guess. I I
Yeah.
feel like I'm convincing myself out of it. Like I kind of want to put it at B, but I kind of want to put it at C. I'll leave that part up to you.
Yeah, this one's actually pretty hard. We'll put it at C. I agree with everything you said.
Cool.
Ditto.
Rebuild the city. 3, a black. 3, a black, a red, and a green. So 6 mana. Choose target land. Doesn't have to be yours. Any land. Any land in the whole world, alright? Create 3 tokens that are copies of it, except they are 3/3 creatures in addition to their other types, and they have vigilance, and they have menace, and they're affected by summoning sickness.
Oh, they're copies of that land. Well, that could
Yeah,
be pretty useful if you got a pretty cool land that you can do cool stuff with.
I mean, I just talked about Cabal coffers.
That's exactly what you did.
Like,
And
they
this is
become a little
black.
more fragile, and you gotta wait a turn to use them because they are creatures. But like, I think this is a super neat card. Like, even if you get, and it doesn't have to be yours, so you can see someone else having something. You could get like, I don't know,
There's lots of
Cabal
cool.
coffers. You
Yeah,
could get
Cabal
Gaia's
Go.
Cradle. You could get a Valakut. Like, there's a lot of versatility in this. The mana cost is quite steep. I like this card a lot. I don't know. I think it's a B tier card. Like, it's cool.
Yeah,
I say
I think
I say
it's
B.
decent. Yeah, B. You still have to. Yeah, the whole waiting the whole cycle for that is pretty sketch, but it's a
Sometimes
very
it's
cool
not going to
card.
get you what you want. And that's okay.
It'd be fun
Sometimes
to
it
pull off.
sometimes this will make you 25 mana out of nowhere the next turn, and sometimes it will make you 3.
Reckless Handling. It's a sorcery for 1 and a red. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle, then discard a card at random. If an artifact card was discarded this way, Reckless Handling deals 2 damage to each opponent. That's another tutor in red. Another red entomb, as I like to call them.
I guess it's just a more expensive gamble, but for artifact
But for
cards
also,
specifically, I guess.
yeah, specifically artifacts.
I do I do really like that even if you discard an artifact card this way, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So like even if the worst case scenario happens, it'll still do something.
Yeah, you get something out of it. And red has plenty of artifact recursion. You got the goblin engineer guy,
Oh yeah, Goblin Welder too.
gobbler as well. Yeah,
There's a
all
lot of
those
little
guys.
gobbies that do gobbing.
Yeah,
They gob your stuff out of the graveyard. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Little gobby hands.
And if you're into tutors, like if you're into doing that, like I think this is not half bad.
No,
Not half bad at all.
where do you want to put it?
B.
I will allow this.
Alrighty.
You good? You good,
Yeah.
my guy? Spark Rupture. 2 and a white. For an enchantment, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Each planeswalker with 1 or more loyalty counters on it loses all abilities and is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to the number of loyalty counters on it.
Oh, this is just
It
static. It's
yeah,
just makes all of them.
it's it's planeswalker hate, which just seems very specific. Unless your playgroup is dominated by like super friends, it seems oddly specific. And I feel like
All my friends
I was
play
I
Super
was
Friends decks. Oh my gosh, no.
I was a Do they?
No, no, I've never
Okay. I was
played
like,
against one.
dang. Yeah, it's not very fun.
Yeah, this is
It's
another
it's
very specific card you'd only put if you like
it
had it.
seems like it's a meta call kind of card, and I feel like even like maybe like 19 out of 20 times you're gonna draw this and it won't do much
Oh
for you.
God.
Like when it does something, it will do a lot, but like it's not really gonna happen.
And it still doesn't even wipe them. They're still creatures.
I want this to sit at a comfortable D.
Yeah, me too. The Kenrith's Royal Funeral. Legendary enchantment for 2, a white and a black. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target legendary creature cards from your graveyard. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among cards exiled this way. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card exiled with the Kenrith's Royal Funeral.
Uh, it's pretty cool.
You could potentially get quite a bit of good card draw out of it, and then it makes your legendary spells like 1 or 2 cheaper
I don't know.
for each card exiled with it. Yeah. So
It's ramp and it's card draw. I I would say A tier.
yeah, especially if you have a deck that's like rocking quite a few legendaries in that color, in those colors.
I mean, at the very you got your commander. Even if you got a commander with no generic mana, it cheats the commander tax out. You know what I mean? If it dies.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's super cool. I mean, it is a little specific because you will want it in a deck where you specifically are going to have legendaries in your graveyard. So maybe like Ratadrabic would love this, Dahada would love this, but I think it's a oh, we already put it in A. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
A
yeah,
is
right?
fine.
That is. Oh yeah.
I would say it's like it's in between B and A. Like it
Yeah.
is like all these cards are almost every card that we've talked about on this video are very like a lot of them are very specific, but I like this one a lot. It's got the card draw, it's got the ramp, but it's not Tolarian Contempt, our next card, 3 blue blue for an enchantment. When Tolarian Contempt enters the battlefield, put a rejection counter on each creature your opponents control. At the beginning of your end step, for each opponent, choose up to 1 target creature they control with a rejection counter on it. That creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library.
This is so weird. What in the
This is
world?
I feel like it reads really weird, but I feel like it is very strong. It is 5 mana, but it's the turn it comes down, it's a 3-for-1.
At the beginning of oh, that's true.
And then the next turn, you, you do it again. You just keep doing it
Until it gets
until it's done.
yeah, until it's done.
I
Yeah, it
think
can be pretty good.
I think this is mega solid removal. I would put it at an A tier.
Yeah. No, yeah.
5 5 is a bit steep, but like this thing can run away with the game. It might not feel like it when it's happening, but you could win games because of this card.
Yeah, you could place it and then, everyone's got their commanders out and then it's like, "Oh man, I got to put my commander on my in my library or wherever, and all that." And it's like, ugh. Yeah, I could see it.
It's removal. Like it's pretty good. They might get the stuff back, but they'll still have to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
And it like I think it makes it so people don't smooth out their draws in like to your benefit. I think it's super cool. It's a
Oh,
cool
that's something
card.
to think about. Yeah, that actually is something to think about. Yeah, not
Like yeah,
smoothing out their draws.
they might get their commander back, but then like what
But
if
if
they
it's on
don't?
top of their library, that means they didn't really draw for turn, technically.
You
I
could
didn't
get
really think
some
about that.
you could actually really screw someone with this because you could wait until someone puts their commander on top and then force them to shuffle. And at that point, their commander isn't changing zones, so they'd
Oh
have to
my
shuffle.
gosh.
And at that,
Evil.
yeah, that's the evilest thing you're gonna hear me say. It's pretty cool. I think it's an A, and I think it's
No,
the
you've
only thing.
convinced me.
I
You've
think the only
convinced
thing
me.
keeping it from S tier is that it's 5 mana.
Yeah. Yeah, you've convinced me. I thought it was like a really weird card, and then I was like, oh, okay.
It reads really weird, but like if you break it down, it's very powerful.
Cool. All right, let's go on to a card. The only reprint in the set, I believe,
I think
Training
that's right.
Grounds. Uh, I'm sure a lot of people know that this is a good card. For a blue, activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that costs to less than 1 mana. This card is an auto include in a lot of decks that like have activated abilities. Um, Kenrith, the one Simic guy that everybody hates, the partner guy,
Thrasios,
Thrasios, uh,
Sliver Overlord
Sliver
makes it so you can
Overlord.
search for any sliver with 1 mana.
I
Like
mean, this
any,
is basically an S tier card, but it's a reprint, so
it's a
I'll...
reprint. It's S tier, and it's again, you probably want your commander to have an activated ability where this really matters. Urza, even this is awesome. Also, you forgot it's an enchantment. Let's move on to the next card. Tranquil Frillback.
talked out of a Pringles can there.
Yeah, I had it waiting this whole time just for that very moment. 2 and a green for a dinosaur. It's a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay green up to 3 times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, choose up to that many. The options are destroy target artifact or enchantment, exile target player's graveyard, and you gain 4 life. I
Wait,
do
choose
not like this
up
at
to that
all.
many? Wait, can you choose this? No, you can't choose the same one.
Correct. I do
Okay.
not like this.
It's at the low end. It's like a 4 mana 3/3 that can destroy an artifact or enchantment. That's what I would use it for if I like if someone was holding me at gunpoint and forcing me to use Tranquil Frillback.
Yeah,
That's what I would use it for.
you might exile a graveyard. Like it's it's just too expensive for what it does.
Yeah, the gain for life is useless, but like, D.
Yeah, I would say D. This might have a nice home in blink decks, but there's not a lot of blink ones with green. Like
In
yeah,
a
like
hostage
Emil.
situation, yeah, probably.
Yeah, in a
Find a
hostage
home.
situation, sure, whatever. Anyway, next card.
Oh, me. Undercity Upheaval. 1 green. Sorcery. Undergrowth. Distribute X+1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard as you cast this spell. Creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. ++1 counters are getting them vigilance, and it's sorcery. Not terrible. If they gave him trample though, this would be a good card.
It's okay. I think it's a. I think it's
It's a
a C.
C.
I,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
that
C. I was thinking the
I
same thing.
I think there are situations where this could feel like a B, but I don't think it's worth putting in B. Like in a go wide token deck with like a lot of creature cards in the graveyard, you could pump yourself up a lot. But I don't think that this is it. Urborg Scavengers. 2 and a black for a spirit. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Urborg Scavengers. It has flying as long as the card exiled with it has flying. The same is true for first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance.
That
This
part's kind of
is
cool.
this is fun. I like that it works when it enters the battlefield or attacks.
Yeah, you could hit a potential pretty good target with them and just get a freaking sweet Urborg Scavengers.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cards that do similar things to this. But I don't know. I think this one's pretty cool. I would say it's a B tier card. I think that it can do a lot. There are kind of keyword soupy cards where I'm sure you could like bring this down and all of a sudden it has like, I don't know, flying indestructible and trample or something. Like if you can give it haste, it gets 2 cards and each time it also gets a +1/+1 counter. So I think it could be it's fun. It's fun. It's cool and fun, and I know I said I don't give things a lot of credit for being fun, but it's a fun one.
Also, one of my favorite arts in the set. I just
Looks
like
kind
the
of
art a lot.
cool.
It reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas type of art. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that. I feel like I could see one of these little dudes in like Bloodborne or Elden Ring or something. Some weird, depressing stuff. Read the last card.
Vesuvian Drifter for 2 and a blue. Creature shapeshifter. Flying. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. At the beginning of each combat, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you reveal a creature card this way, Vesuvian Drifter becomes a copy of that card until end of turn. Except it has flying. That's sweet. I this is one of I think it's cool. I really like that type of impulse stuff. I don't think it's like it's obviously not super reliable, but I think it's cool. I like it.
I think there will be times where this card will be crazy,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but
You can't be
I'm
like
not
competitive with it.
I'm
But I
not
mean,
high on it. But
imagine
it's
like
fun.
it turning into an ancient silver dragon, like real
Yeah,
quick, and
know,
then you just drawing like,
Ulamog.
well, yeah. What if it turns into Ulamog? You know?
I think there's very specific decks that will want this, and it can have a crazy turn, or a deck where you're stacking the top of your library or things like that. I think it can be very powerful, even early. Like play this on turn 3, and you got a little baby Ulamog in play.
Yeah. I think that's cool. Yeah, not reliable, but I think it's really sick. C.
C or B? I would say B is fine, but C is fine as well.
Yeah, I will let the bias get to me and put it in B because I like it. Yeah.
Between part 1 and part 2, we just did every card in Aftermath.
Holy shit, we did.
We
Didn't register
actually
with me.
made we actually made the top 100 real definitive Aftermath. I keep forgetting what the set's called. Tier list of all time.
Wow,
What do
Howie,
you
I think
think?
we did an accomplishment that no person has ever done before. I think this is going to be one of our greatest achievements ever. And it's
Check out part 1 if you haven't already.
oh yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. Comment, tell us what you think about any of our decisions, about how we're right or wrong, how we're super cool or uncool. And I don't know. How do you feel about the set?
It's okay. I'm not opposed to micro sets, but this one is like, it's fine.
I think that some of the cards are super cool, but I think like 80% of the set, I could pass on it.
I open a lot of packs, and I just am not excited to open this kind of a set. I just am not excited to and I like
Yeah.
opening things.
I like, I want to have like 7 copies of Filter out.
Yeah, but yeah, probably just buy them as singles though.
Yeah. It's an uncommon. I don't know how that's going to work with a micro set. I don't know. I want to get like 7 of them. I think is a cool card.
Yeah, good card.
Do you think that Filter Out's the best card in the whole set, including the other side?
Um,
I don't even remember what we had in S tier. We had Narset and Niv
yeah.
Mizzet Supreme as S tier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That is a very powerful. It's a very powerful card.
I do think Filter Out is the best card in this set. I would say if we thought ahead, I would have put this in S plus.
Yeah, this is super good.
I'm ready to end it. Thanks and see
No,
you.
Howie, no.
Bye.
Don't end it. All right, thanks and see you.